I'm Norma Shaw with the Royal Examiner, and we're welcoming in today Gerry Maiatico, the Fire Marshal of Warren County. Welcome to you.
Norma Jean, as always, it's a pleasure to be here and
Likewise, and we could talk for hours and hours and hours. You are a fountain of information, and we have such a good time when we get together. Specifically, though, let's talk about cold weather. Winter is officially starting later this month. And sadly, that means fires are kicking up.
You mean winter hasn't already started? Because I'm freezing when I came in this morning.
Yeah, well, It's a little cool in here because of our recording equipment. But fires happen with increasing frequency as the temperature drops. Sometimes people aren't as safe as they should be, and we want to talk about that.
Well, that's right. This is what we know as our busy season. Mm-hmm. Typically, we see an increase in fire-related incidents and emergencies this time of year. We predominantly see the significance of those fires increase because of fuel loads in the home due to the holiday season, different types of appliances being used, so our heating devices. So this is really a busy time of year for our fire suppression folks.
Okay, let's talk about how to be safe, first of all, when you're heating your home.
So, the number one cause of fires this time of year is the simple but complex task of heating your home. Irregardless of how you heat your home, if that is through a wood stove, a fireplace, any type of fuel burning equipment, so propane or fuel oil heating, to electric heat, to even any type of supplemental heating device. So we look at a lot of our community still has baseboard heaters in the home, kerosene heaters, electric portable space heaters. As we are introducing these appliances, as we're working these appliances on a regular basis, we see an increase of risk of fire-related emergencies to either using those devices or discarding the materials after the fact. So looking at wood stove fireplace ashes, very common in our community is we see a fire originate on the exterior of the home because we didn't properly dispose of those wood stove or fireplace ashes, and it spreads into the home. Okay. So we have a home burning from the outside in.
And that is a way to burn your house down. What is the safe way to dispose of ashes? So
any type of wood stove fireplace ashes, we recommend that you put them in a metal bucket with a tight-fitting lid. Move it to the exterior of the home. So, and wait. It's a waiting game when it comes to those ashes. Those ashes can remain hot in that metal bucket for 3 to 4 days. Wow. So what happens is if you don't wait that period, you have hot ashes. Yeah, certainly we all fight the leaf battle. So we have leaves in our yard, under our porch deck, around our home. We go outside, we dispose of those ashes. As the wind blows, it starts to uncover the cold materials, and certainly we all know that fire needs oxygen. So as that wind blows over top of those semi-hot embers, it reignites them, it now uncovers them. We got leaves, combustible materials around our home, so we have a fire outside. So we recommend that you wait 4 days, then you properly dispose of them by dumping water on top of them. Okay, that is the safest mechanism. Then discard of them appropriately. We highly encourage to wait, to wet, and to discard. My own home, I have a wood burning fireplace, or wood stove rather, and I do just that. I have a spot that I discard them on my property. It's within garden hose reach, so anytime I dump that bucket out, I adequately wet it, and it recycles back into the ground. So every spring I have beautiful vegetation growing in the area of where I discard of my wood stove and fireplace ashes. But you got to do it safe. Okay. Do not put them in normal household trash. Sure. And if you do, follow the county's recommendations on doing that. But I'm overly confident our sanitary district encourages you not to put them, because we have a lot of dumpster fires this time of year because we're emptying and it's catching our dumpsters on fire.
And that's not safe for your fire.
Extremely hazardous.
Yeah. Another thing that people do, a lot of people finally are figuring out that it's not safe to smoke inside. So people are stepping out on their deck, on their back porch, smoking outside. I know you've had fires because of that. What is the best way to extinguish your smoking materials from your backyard or your deck?
So you're absolutely right. In Virginia now, all cigarettes sold in Virginia, if you're a smoker, you know that there's what they call a fire-safe cigarette or a low-propensity cigarette. Without drawing on that cigarette, it self-extinguishes. So it burns down to a little rib in the paper, and it won't burn down any faster. Our smokers know what we're talking about because they may set it in an ashtray and it goes out, and they get frustrated with that. I'm not a smoker, so I don't know. I just hear this.
See, that's news to me.
But unfortunately, it doesn't take a lot of air movement through that smoking device to continue the burning. So just because they're called fire-safe cigarettes, it's a misnomer. That fire-safe cigarette, the true intent is if you drop that cigarette on a couch, a love seat, or a piece of upholstered furniture, it won't burn long enough to heat the items around it. But with any type of air current outside, if you discard of that cigarette into a pile of leaves and we have an airflow, it could continue the burning of that cigarette and cause a fire. So the best way is have an approved or appropriate bucket, sand bucket, water bucket. People have it. Okay. We see it throughout the community, especially in our public access areas where we have disposal containers. The number one key factor is to clean that container on a regular basis.
You hear that,
because you have a bunch of cigarettes, and the more you add, that's paper. That's paper product. You wouldn't lay an ignited cigarette on a pile of paper within your home. Well, you're doing virtually the same thing in one of those receptacles.
Okay, and we'll refrain from lecturing about just not smoking at all. Of course, the holidays are upon us. A lot of folks are decorating live trees, some of them. Lots of decorations. Sometimes people do things that aren't safe. They have older lights, what they call the vintage lights, which are older than you and I, some of them. And there are concerns about fires with those kinds of things.
So, absolutely. We see increased decorations, now with having 2 kids and raising them in the community. My kids love to go look at Christmas lights, so we don't discourage decorating for the holiday.
Of course.
We do want you to do it safely. So a couple key aspects is to follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Believe it or not, Christmas lights, the manufacturer is going to say do not hook more than 5 strands together, as an example, because you're overloading that electrical current, because those are electrical wires. So you can overload them. You can cause those to become hazardous by doing that. We talk about Clark Griswold in our Christmas Vacation, is all of these cords coming into one electrical outlet. Well, that's a true thing. We can overload our electrical systems in our home. You can use frail or aged Christmas lights that over time, as you roll them up, unroll them, roll them up, unroll them, put them on, throw a staple through it, and we start to deteriorate the electrical conditions. That is an electrical wire, and anytime you put electricity inside of a device, it becomes hazardous. So make sure that we're using that. You're not splicing them together. You're not bypassing the safety features. We used to decorate in my home. We'd blow a fuse, don't have fuses. I shouldn't say this, but you'd wrap that fuse in aluminum foil to bypass the purpose of that fuse. We see that. But
we've learned it's not safe.
No, it's not safe, and I'm not recommending it. So certainly inside of the home, same aspect. Make sure we decorate with care and caution. Live Christmas trees, you want to make sure that it's a fresh cut Christmas tree. If you're going to any type of Christmas tree farm, you're physically watching them cut the tree so you know it's fresh cut. If you're going to any type of retail location, a Christmas tree stand, ask, when was this tree cut? They should be able to provide a general time frame of how long the tree's been cut. Because certainly the longer it goes without water, the more hazardous it becomes. So ask when the tree was cut. Do a needle test. Simply just taking one needle off of the tree, putting it in between your thumb and index finger, and bending it. If it bends without breaking, it's a viable live tree. If that needle breaks or is brittle, it's probably not the best tree. It shows that the needles aren't don't have any moisture and can become hazardous within your home. Make sure that you follow keep water in the tree, those types of things, make it optimal. But our decorations, anytime we typically see a fire as it relates to a Christmas tree fire or Christmas decoration fire, it goes back to the heating of the home. We're using heating appliances. Well, we need to keep our decorations at least 3 feet away from any heating appliance. Not only our decorations, but any combustible material. 3 foot, okay? So any type of combustible material, let's keep that 3 foot away from heating appliances.
And it's easy to forget about that. If you take off your wet sneakers and you put them near the kerosene heater, that's a no-no.
Right.
But people do things like that without thinking.
Well, and you know, we start to introduce more materials in our home during the holiday season.
Sure.
Our decorations, our presents. We typically rearrange our home to get that Christmas tree to fit just right. So we may slide the couch a little closer to that heating appliance than what we normally would, thinking it's going to be okay. But you know, the number one thing during any holiday, during any time of the year, check your smoke alarm.
That was my next topic.
I knew it was.
You know,
I knew it was.
we love to talk about that because it virtually is life-saving. Let's go over the do's and don'ts for your smoke detector.
So any time of the year, but certainly we've already highlighted how the winter and the holiday season provides an increased risk of fire emergencies in the home. So we certainly just want you to take the time. It literally takes seconds to test the smoke alarm in your home to make sure it's in a good working condition. The do's and don'ts. The do's.
The do's.
Let's go over the do's.
Okay.
Have a working smoke alarm in your home. The key word I am using in that sentiment is working. The only way you can truly know if you have a working smoke alarm is to test it, to push the button. It takes seconds to do that. A working smoke alarm should be placed in the common area of the home, on every floor of the home, and ultimately in every sleeping area of the home. For those that are on social media, you've probably seen a large safety campaign about sleeping with your bedroom door closed.
Yes.
So now putting a smoke alarm inside of that sleeping area increases the protection in your home. Make sure it's in working condition. It's installed in the appropriate location. Believe it or not, unfortunately, we go into homes throughout our community and we see smoke alarms installed about 4 foot off of the wall.
Totally
They have a working smoke alarm. They've checked that box,
Sure.
but it's not properly
Of
installed.
course, because smoke rises.
Well, yeah. So they can't reach any higher than that. So I'm going to put it where I can reach it, where I can test it with ease. Smoke goes high, right? So certainly we want that on the ceiling level. Okay, if not at the ceiling level, about 12 inches down from the corner of the wall.
Okay.
So what that does is that allows, if you look at the natural air currents within a room, any smoke production is going to bypass the corners. Okay, so that's why we have you bring that smoke alarm down on that wall.
Okay.
But if you could imagine that fire, to activate that smoke alarm that's 4 foot off the wall, has to progress to build enough smoke to fill that room to that 4 foot level.
Wow.
So it is delaying the true purpose of the smoke alarm, and that's early warning or early detection. The don'ts of a smoke alarm. This time of year, commonly with parents with kids, is we buy all of these toys and we forget to get batteries. I need a 9-volt battery. I know where one is. We borrow the battery out of the smoke alarm this time of year to get that toy up and running. Never borrow the battery out of the smoke alarm during the holiday season at all costs. Certainly we understand that the children want that toy, they want that toy to work, but is it really worth it? Okay? The other don'ts. Don't assume just because it's there, it's going to work. You have to test it to make sure.
Okay.
Don't assume because you can't reach it, you're out of options. We are a phone call away. If you are a citizen of Warren County and you can't reach your smoke alarm, you don't know the date or age of your smoke alarm, or you don't have smoke alarms, we are literally a phone call away. If you call our office at 540-636-3830, we can provide you smoke alarm assistance, from coming to just simply testing it to make sure it's working, to make sure, if you just want us to do an assessment, to make sure that you have the adequate number, that they're in the right location, and that they will work. We are a phone call away. Or if you don't have smoke alarms in your home, we provide them for free, no cost to you. We come to your home, we install them, and we educate you on them. Zero cost. That is our Christmas gift to you every day of the year.
That is awesome. And of course, there are some folks who can afford to purchase them. They just don't have someone to put them up. You're there to do that as well.
If you go and you purchase the smoke alarm and you just want us to install them, we'd be more than happy to do that. If it relates to that smoke alarm outside of pulling new wire because you wanted hardwired smoke alarms, we can't get into that. But if it relates to that smoke alarm, we'll provide it to you for free.
Wonderful. So, a lot of good tips. Thank you very much for stopping by. Of course, you're always looking for good volunteers, so if someone is interested in becoming a volunteer, they would reach out to you how?
Well, they can certainly email us at joinnow@warrencountyfire.com. They can call our administrative number. They can talk to our recruitment and retention coordinator, Brenda Deal. She is dedicated in trying to attract and retain volunteers for our community fire stations. A lot of people say, hey, what should I get you for Christmas? Well, I want cash.
Of course.
But in reality, give back to your community. And what no better rewarding way than joining your local fire and EMS department to be able to provide this service, even if you're not interested in going on emergency medical responses, fire responses, or driving a piece of apparatus. There are many ways to give back by joining your local fire station. You could be a crew member that just goes out and does our smoke alarm visits. Somebody to help do fundraising activities in your community fire station. Maybe you have a special skill set, a mechanic that just wants to help work on apparatus, or an accountant that wants to help do the financial books. Clerical skills to help do administrative office work.
Sure.
The possibilities are endless. You don't have to run into burning buildings or help somebody, in a medical emergency to give back. But certainly if you're interested in doing those two skill sets, we will train you at no cost.
So that's an important message to get out there, because some people just think there's no way I could put on all that gear and run and do that. But maybe I could help when you have, say, breakfast with Santa, or I could help with bingo if you're one of the fire stations that does bingo. There are lots of ways to give back to the community, and it feels really good to help others.
Well, it does, and even if you're not interested, if you don't have the time commitment right now, you talked about breakfast with Santa. Almost all of our fire and EMS stations at the volunteer level do a Breakfast with Santa event. So if you can't directly join, you can support the local fire station by attending
an event,
their fundraising function. So we encourage you to go to our social media page, Warren County Fire on Facebook. Any of your volunteer community fire and rescue stations, we try to share their events. But we have a lot of Breakfast with Santa events coming out. That's a good fundraiser. It helps you get to know who your community volunteers are, our career fire and EMS responders, as well as walk into your fire station. There are a lot of people in the community that have never set foot in their community fire station. That gives you an opportunity to kind of walk in, see what it's all about. Where do your tax dollars truly go? Where does your donations truly go? And who does it help support?
Absolutely. And speaking of donations, it's the getting to be the end of the year, and people are always looking for where do I make my charitable donation. I didn't do it this year. Fire stations always, it's tax deductible. They were always willing to take your money. So reach out to the fire station that's close to your home and write a generous tax deductible check. Right?
We certainly appreciate it.
Well, we're here to bang that drum for you, because you are always in the community helping. I always appreciate that when I ask you to come and talk to our readers and viewers that you're always right here. So thank you so much for helping keep everybody safe. We wish you all happy holidays, and we hope to see you and our viewers soon at a fire station having breakfast with Santa Claus.
Well, that's right, and we certainly appreciate Norma Jean and the Royal Examiner staff for supporting us coming on and speaking to the listeners and watchers on your platform. And certainly I can honestly say that Chief Mabee had a previous commitment, but he certainly wanted to be here. And, you know, on behalf of Chief Mabee and the entire Department of Fire and Rescue Services, we appreciate it, and we appreciate the support from our community members. And, you know, we would love to be able to see you in the fire station on that non-emergency level, because certainly if we see you at your home, that's usually not a good sign. So
we want to see you on a regular day, not the worst day.
right, absolutely. So we certainly appreciate it. We wish everybody happy holidays and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Jerry, and thanks for tuning in for this edition of What's Going On at the Royal Examiner.